Welcome to the world of Rex. I am Marvel Rex here. We're going to be looking at the astrological energies for the week of April 15th to April 21st of 2024. I'm titling this week The Wheel of Fortune because after that eclipse, woo, we are still in a moment of like, what's going to happen? Let's spin the wheel and find out. Before we dive into another really dynamic week of a very important month, April of 2024, you can always connect with me. And I think this is an especially potent time to connect with me one on one for a reading. The link is in the show notes. I'm working with people across all spectrums, they've got all sorts of stuff going on. And I'm here to help guide us through this moment, giving the knowledge of the stars to you to work with. You can also share, rate, and subscribe to the podcast. You can subscribe to our newsletter. We love the newsletter, it comes out weekly. You can also check me out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. All of that is linked in the show notes. So this is a really unique week, just like last week was very unique because it was an eclipse with Chiron co-present, very rare situation happening. This week also holds a rare energetic signature, planetary signature in the sky, which is dun dun dun, Uranus and Jupiter conjoining together at the exact same degree, which means these two planets are lining up at the exact degree, same degree in Taurus, 21 degrees of Taurus. This has not happened for a long time in Taurus, all right? And it doesn't happen very often. It's about a 14-year cycle that this happens. And the last time it was in Taurus was, I believe, in 1941. So we're going to dive more into this really unique aspect. It's a longer lasting impact, by the way, because these are outer planets. Jupiter is technically not an outer planet, but Uranus is, and they both move more slowly than the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. And because they move more slowly, when they come together, we astrologers and astrology lovers, we pay attention. We pay attention to these big planetary combustions when these two come together. So we're going to break down the archetypes between the two of them, what they may mean for us on the ground in Taurus. This is all happening on the weekend, so we want to mark like the weekend is getting a big old boost, unprecedented boost in our lifetimes because most of us were not alive in 1941. So this is a new energy for us. Lots of new energy in 2024. What a year. I have to note, because it's my duty, that Mercury is still retrograde in Aries. All right. So this is not a joke right now. We are still deep in a Mercury retrograde in Aries. In fact, I want to double check. Lots of new energy in 2024. It's a wild year. All right. We have to note that Mercury is still retrograde as I'm talking. So this week until the 24th, which is the following week, this whole week we have a Mercury retrograde in Aries. So we are reviewing, renegotiating, all the RE words, reworking a storyline around our own, how we show up as our own personal identity in our lives. So, how are we showing up as an individual? Are we stepping into leadership? Are we recognizing places where we maybe were on autopilot and not being a leader? This can be in work, but also in your home environment, in your child storyline, in it's so mundane. It can be all the things in which maybe you've been on autopilot and you need to step into more personal accountability and personal leadership. So there can be redoing there. Particularly if you are cardinal sign Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn, this is a really big moment for you to be reworking something in your life. So be looking out for that. This can also cause total relationship miscommunications. This is happening on the Aries Libra axis, which is myself versus myself in relationship. And when there's a Mercury retrograde there in a very fiery, impulsive sign, there can be huge relational conflicts that come up to be worked out, to be reevaluated. That is the work we're doing. If that's happening for you right now, like God bless, or universe bless. Like this is medicinal and it's good to face the thing. Face the elephant, face the elephant in the room. The element is fire. So it's a fiery elephant. Let's face it. All right, so let's dive into Monday. On Monday, Moon Day, the Monday's associated with the moon. we want to be paying attention to where she's at. The moon is in Cancer. And this is a very action oriented moment because this is the quarter moon in Cancer from that new moon that just happened, that new moon solar eclipse on April 8th. So Monday is a week later, and it basically says with the moon in Cancer, we have to make a decision around something that started during the eclipse. Very sensitive. The moon is in Cancer, really thinking about thoughts of personal safety, emotional safety, wanting to feel provided for or to provide for others, wanting to feel like there's an emotional container, but it can be really emo. Like moon in Cancer can be like, I don't feel safe. This is really intense and I'm getting crappy about it. That can happen for everybody. Family dynamics, whether they are historical or present in the moment, can emerge. So watch out, be mindful about familial dynamics and or your relationship to your family could be playing out with them or with people that remind you of family in this lifetime. So there's an action that needs to be taken. A square is always a crisis of action. Like we have to make a choice. It's coming from a very emotional place with the moon in Cancer. And the moon is literally square the north node Chiron in the sun. So really big on the docket in terms of like people may be making decisions finally in this quarter moon around a realization that occurred on April 8th. So a week later, you may finally have the emotional resolve, Cancer, moon in Cancer, the emotional resolve to be like, yep, I'm making a decision, or this is what's happening now. I see where we're turning. And there can be deep, deep feelings here. So I want to like honor for everybody if you're feeling like you need to cry or the tears are coming or you need to listen to someone else while they get really vulnerable. It's important to be brave and courageous in the emotional space right now, but also watch yourself and make sure that you're not acting out of emotional overwhelm. That's the shadow side of this is feeling really overwhelmed and then making a bunch of decisions because you're emotionally overwhelmed. If that's happening, slow way down. It's eclipse season, like slow way down. Wednesday, so we're going to scoot forward to Wednesday. Venus will conjoin the North Node. The moon is in Leo and it squares Uranus and Jupiter. Okay, different tone by Wednesday. Venus conjoining the North Node will bring to top of mind for all of us some fated changes around money, values, love relationships, and children slash the arts as well. The arts is part of this. So Venus rules all those things. When she talks to the North Node, there's a fated awareness that's coming in where all of us are like, oh, okay, that's the new thing, or this is the new way that I'm making a living, or there's a new opportunity here. Again, Venus is generally positive, but the North Node is malefic. So when these two come together, it can feel like love can feel strained, finances can feel strained. There can be this moment of like, we have to fix it right now. That's Aries, impulsive. We have to fix this right now. Love, money, romance, children, art. Oh, we have to fix it. The moon in Leo, exemplifying a lot of these things, especially childhood, inner child wounding, and your art projects, squaring Uranus and Jupiter. Yeah, money. Wednesday to me looks like people might be unnecessarily unnecessarily freaking out about resources. So if that's coming up, yes, of course there's a reality to that needs to be tended to with honor, and also ask yourself like, is this actually the end of the world? Is this relationship over? Is this money situation over? The likelihood that it's more of a mirage with the North Node is really high. And with the moon in Leo squaring Uranus and Jupiter, we are getting more in touch with what we really need artistically, creatively, in romance, in love, in our child storylines. We are getting more in touch with that, but this is a little bit, it looks a little bit Mercury retrograde to me, like on steroids. Wednesday feels a little bit like we're not, we may be really primed to make a bunch of changes, but we need to just be more present with the information that's coming in on Wednesday. It's a very important day, but it's an important day to be collecting data like a detective. What's going on? What are the changes? With the North Node activated, you always want to be like, okay, where are the hands of fate moving me? Where are the hands of fate moving the situation? And how can I show up to face those moments from a brave and courageous place, Aries, in a way that's authentic to who I am and also nonviolent? All of these questions together, synthesize them, and go. All right. Meanwhile, second half of the week, we have Jupiter and Uranus almost conjoining. So they're so close. That means that they're coming together. to come to the same degree. They haven't gotten there yet, but the powerful energy is building. So every day this week, starting on Monday, we are building towards a breakthrough, which is Jupiter Uranus coming together. So just know, second half of the week, things are getting real hot. Although in Taurus, it's like things are bending to break or about to break, but not necessarily in a bad way. Hold on here, hold on. So Friday rolls around. We have Mercury, Venus, and the North Node all in one orb of conjunction, which means Mercury, the North Node, and Venus are hanging out right around the same degrees of Aries, 15, 16 degrees of Aries. This is fated conversations that are coming in now, maybe on Wednesday. That's why Wednesday's like a detective day, because maybe on Wednesday you were pulling in a bunch of information around how the money storyline, the love storyline, relationship storyline is changing. Your inner child's needs are maybe changing, or your literal children's needs are changing. And then Friday, that's when we start to actually have conversations because Mercury's moving back. Mercury's still retrograde. So it's like, for all of you listening, you may need to have the same conversation 3 times over this month. Be patient. Ooh, like deep breaths. Ooh, saw. Just deep breaths. Okay. I already talked to them about that, but I got to do it again. Mercury's retrograde. So just know that there may be multiple conversations or multiple parts to a conversation coming up, but it's all fated, Fated. It all needs to be happening because the North Node is there saying, we must transform this. Individual needs will be at the fore of these conversations, right? People are going to really want to be advocating rather for what they need. If it's bargaining, it's like, well, okay, how do I win here? Aries always has an undertone of like, how am I winning in this situation? Not necessarily in a bad way. Like I do advocate for healthy selfishness. So a lot of these conversations are around really advocating for yourself in the areas of love, beauty, money, relationships, and children, slash also the arts. So just know that those conversations on Friday all the way through the weekend are very important, particularly if you are an Aries, a Taurus, a Libra. All right. Maybe even Scorpio, because these are all like in Martian. There's a lot of Martian signs going on here. But I would definitely say Aries, Libras, and Tauruses. Wow. Like this is a lot for you. Libras as well, because you're ruled by Venus. So I already said Libras. Libras. You're Libra, Libra, Libra. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But fated conversations, take notes what's happening on the weekend. Also on Friday, the sun enters Taurus. So whoop-a-boo, we enter Taurus season with a damn bang. This is a usually Taurus does not like to be like, look at me, we're entering my season. Like Taurus is like, where's the bag of chips? And can I please Netflix and chill? Leave me alone. I work too hard for this, right? Normally we're slinking into Taurus season, but this entrance is with such a huge bang because of the Uranus Jupiter conjunction in Taurus with like as the sun enters. So this is a really big fanfare that's opening up Taurus season, and it's a really transformative Taurus season. So April is transformative as a month, and then all the way through till about the end of May, we're still having a lot of transformations around our relationship to the Taurus part of our chart. If you don't know where that is, please book a reading with me and I can go really deep into where you're having a major transformation. The Taurus part of your chart always describes to an astrologer how you sort of make money or where you benefit from, usually from your own hard work, but where some sort of financial or material stability comes from with the Taurus house. So the sun entering here is going to place a highlight for everybody around their material resources, like who they are, their self-esteem, how they earn money, how they value their time, right? The value of your time is like how much you're getting paid hourly. How do you value that? These are big Taurus questions. Uh, Topics around real estate can come up for sure. Like, do I have assets? Do I have a home that I can come to or an apartment? So this is all coming up with the sun in Taurus. It is also a sign that is really into the arts. So the arts are going to have a moment as well here. Anyone who's an artist, there's going to be some big changes in these storylines. I would say overall, and this is really for the whole week, but definitely starting on Friday, expect the unexpected. Especially, it's so funny because Taurus is such a stable, consistent sign. It is a fixed earth sign, meaning it does not bend, it breaks. It does not like to change its routine unless it absolutely has to. It's very steady, a very steady sign that's all about tangible material manifestation over time, over hard work, through hard work, rather. So it's weird that we're expecting the unexpected, but that's what Uranus is doing here. Uranus is taking the Taurus archetype and flipping it on its head and being like, nothing here is stable right now. Ooh, and our egos, like our little baby egos, do not like that. It's so challenging, but there's a breakthrough here. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. There is a major breakthrough available this weekend and the few weeks to follow as well. So Saturday, 420, which is normally the stoner holiday, is not so chill though, bro. Not so chill. Okay. It is not about smoking weed and hanging out. Like, wow. Jupiter and Uranus come together in Taurus at 21 degrees while the moon is in Virgo, trining them. Mars is going to be sextiling them in Pisces. This is actually, let me tell you, very workable energy. Very much, it looks like breakdown to breakthrough energy, or for some people, they're skipping the breakdown altogether and they're having a breakthrough. I do think the earth and water signs in general are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank God. Like, I'm so happy that this happened, even though I didn't expect it. So that's the whole thing. It's usually with Uranus, it's usually a curveball. You didn't see it coming. You're like, whoa, that's a new opportunity. Or like, I didn't even think that person was my lover and now they're my lover. Like, there's always a surprise. But, and then with Jupiter amplifies everything he touches. So there's a big surprise. And for the earth and water signs, particularly, it's like you worked really hard and here you go. Like, here's the thing that's giving you renewed faith. Now, I know my fire and earth and my air signs right now are like, okay, Marvel, what about me? For y'all, it's going to be a little bit more of an adjustment and it could manifest first as a breakdown to a breakthrough. The key here, particularly for the fire signs, is what's your relationship to your ego? How are you forcing? Are you trying to force something right now? Are you trying to control the change? Let it go. That's for the fire signs. For the air signs, are you in your body? Are you somatically in your, do you have a relationship to your somatic experience? Are you grounding down into your body so that you can see the miracle that's happening right now? Those are right. Two pieces of advice for their air and fire signs, particularly sun and rising for those. But overall, this is very workable energy. We have support from Mars, we have support from the moon. Okay, we have two planets coming in saying like, "Hey, Jupiter, Uranus, we love what you're doing in Taurus." So, what does this mean? Well, Jupiter symbolizes growth, opportunity, and broader aspects of our existence. So, like going beyond the comfort zone, but in a way that's empowering, usually. Uranus represents, like I said, sudden changes and disruptions, wild cards, curveballs. The conjunction in Taurus, which again is a sign associated with stability and material resources, suggests an upcoming fusion of stability and change that can manifest as a wave of technological and social reforms. For us, it can also, on the ground, for individuals, mean like, I'm trying something new with my body, Taurus. I'm trying something new with how I make money, Taurus. I'm trying something new as an artist, Taurus. Okay. Or these new opportunities are surprisingly coming in those realms. Again, particularly if you are actually a Taurus sun or a rising or moon, this is really big. I keep thinking, I have to say, I keep thinking of Ozempic. Like this just like screams of Ozempic to me because Uranus is this quantum factor that moves really quickly. Taurus is the body. Jupiter is like, oh, your body got too big. Here's Ozempic. Here's this thing that's going to like somehow short circuit your brain into not eating and you're going to lose a bunch of weight. Like that is so Uranus in Taurus. Do I think it's healthy? I don't know. Like, you know, I don't think Ozempic's healthy, but whatever. I'm not a spokesperson. Not getting paid for that. Taurus, we have to be looking at, again, I'm going to just be a little bit of a broken record here, but on the world stage, we have to be looking at real estate, finances, cryptocurrency, big time. We want to be watching the cryptocurrency storyline because that's going to start to move much more into the mainstream as we enter the age of Aquarius in a deeper way. So crypto is going to become much more integrated. And then also, again, I'm saying this that, laughing about Ozempic, but there will be big shifts in the health and wellness industry, cosmetic, and like the aesthetics of humans are going to be changing a lot after this signature. This is sort of the opening chorus line to a very big change where digital technology is affecting all of the physical, which is cash, homes, food, our body. Okay. Food also, we'll see food go undergo a big change in terms of like beyond meat and even beyond meat. Beyond meat. All right. So this is not necessarily a happy-go-lucky transit because again, Taurus doesn't like to have instability and Uranus is an unstable element. But Uranus has been here since 2019, so this isn't like a new experience per se. We've all been experiencing on a big level, on a global level, we've been experiencing massive changes in our finances, massive changes in cryptocurrency and home and the real estate market, feeling stable in our bodies. By the way, on a more esoteric note, this is like psychic downloads, especially for Taurus risings. It's like psychic downloads, having new somatic experiences in your body because the planet Uranus is basically transfiguring you right now and waking you up. Very much, Uranus is very much the like uh red pill in the Matrix. Is it red pill or blue pill? It's red pill, right? When you take the red pill and you're like seeing reality for what it really is, that is Uranus. Okay, so Tauruses can be really feeling that, but everyone can also have that experience with this because it's very much somatic in the body with Taurus. I want to say a small note that Gen X slash Xennials, anyone born in the late 70s, early 80s, is having a really immense healing process because your Chiron in Taurus is being directly impacted by Jupiter and Uranus. So very big healing for my late 70s, early 80s babies. This is really intense and watch your health during this period of time, mental and physical health, but it's a breakthrough for a lot of you. Especially if you're artists or people who are, interested in upping your self-worth, which I think all of us are, hopefully on the ground with Virgo Pisces being activated by the moon and Mars, it's all about healing. Like I looked at this and I was like, this is about healing your mental health and healing your physical health through these big changes. Like, can you actually do the deeper healing work while the world around you is storming, while there is a lightning storm above you? Can you find spiritual groundedness and the tending to the physical body during a time where the news cycle is going to be absolutely bananas, okay? Not Bernie Sanders, just bananas, okay? And how can you really absorb the quantum changes that are happening at this time if you don't have like a regular routine? That's the Virgo Pisces thing is like, what is my routine? Is it really supporting me? How am I listening to my body this week with all this Taurus energy in the mix? But I would also say, on top of that, don't get overly fixated on all the small stuff you can't control. So, like if you're stuck in traffic, I think of Los Angeles. Like if you're stuck in traffic and you're late for an appointment, okay, let it go and let it God. It's eclipse season. Let it go. It's Jupiter, Uranus. Bigger things. There are bigger fish to fry right now than being late for an appointment. How can you detach in these scenarios where maybe you want to get really addicted to the stress? Slowing down, breathing, and saying, you know what? I'm going to detach from the stress there. There's a lot bigger fish to fry. Landing in a place of being brave around openness to new modes of security. So Taurus is asking us to get really familiar with the fact that the normal or the old ways that we made ourselves feel safe, secure, even addicted to certain patterns because they just made us feel comfortable, not necessarily happy, but comfortable, are changing. And we need to trust that the new modes that are coming in are for our higher good. What does it look like to be experimental with how we do things, how we tend to our mental health and physical health, as well as our money, love, and artistic storylines? This transit also asks us to find a balance between expansion and conservation. So Taurus wants to conserve and hold things that are already working, again, regardless of whether they serve the Taurus or not, like holding and conserving. And then Jupiter and Uranus are like, expand, 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 get bigger, go, go, go. And all that Aries energy is like, go, 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 go. So we're in a little bit of a tightrope here where we are expanding while we're returning to some familiarity. We're expanding, returning to some familiarity, but we're also recognizing where we have to psychically surgically remove some old familiar comfort patterns that have to go over the next couple months. And definitely the next couple weeks, it'll be really apparent. The long game here is what it is. It's always, even though it's the Wheel of Fortune, there's changes happening. Taurus is about the long game. So if you know the Taurus part of your chart, you know where there's a big long-term change taking place. If you don't, you can always book a reading with me and we can go in much deeper as to where you're being asked to innovate while still slowly unraveling some of the older patterns. And it's going to lead to a lot more financial abundance, romantic and artistic abundance. All right. So that's what's coming up this week. Take really good care of yourselves. Anytime there's Uranus in the sky, anytime you hear an astrologer say, hey, Uranus is happening, you want to know, I'm going to have a lot of electricity inside my body, particularly if you are a highly sensitive person or if you are a Taurus rising, you're going to have a lot of electricity in your body. So, what do we do with that energy? We make sure we have grounded spiritual methods to move that energy through, whether it is exercise or long walks or yoga, meditation, whatever it is that allows that energy to move. That's where we want to be putting our consciousness and grounding down into those techniques while there's a lot of activation in the sky. We're going to make it through April, everybody. It's very intense. I recommend that everyone be journaling during this time or writing down, even in the notes section of your phone, what's coming up for you that's really poignant because the levels of synchronicity are very, very high when Uranus is in the sky active. All right. I love each and every one of you. You can check the link in the show notes to learn more about me. Please subscribe to the newsletter. It is amazing. Comes into the inbox once a week. We love it. And I will talk to you next week as we plow our way through April. I'll talk to you next week on the world of Rex. You all got this. I believe in you.